What's going on, guys? This is Michael MGF, and today I'll be doing another LEGO DC Superheroes 2016 Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice set review on the most disappointing set out of the three, the Clash of Heroes. And the set number for this one is 76044. The recommended ages are 6 through 12, and it has a piece count of 92, while the price point is $12.99. And guys, I say this is the most disappointing out of the three because you've probably already heard what I've had to say if you've seen the analysis video at least. And it's just, this set could have been so much more, but it just feels so rushed, and it's not even like with the figures. It's also really a lot of it comes from the build too. It's overall a very disappointing set. Hopefully you don't agree and you're not seeing it the way I see it, because I just can't really find this to be an acceptable set. It's just that disappointing to me, and I'll get into all the reasons just as to why, so let's get started. Okay, so just to get him out of the way, since I already talked about him in the Sky High battle, we're going to start with Superman, and there is one thing that this Superman does not have that the one in the Sky High battle did have, and you've probably already noticed, and I'll talk about it in a second, but just for those of you who have not seen this minifigure yet, this new Superman is really okay. The torso is awesome, and the blue on it is great. It's a shame how it couldn't really continue on to the rest of the minifigure, like the arms and the legs, but that's understandable. And the hair is also really awesome. The hair is an entirely new hairpiece. It looks great, and I can already imagine, I already have like 2 or 3 uses planned out for this hairpiece because it is really great and awesome. I'm glad LEGO's made it. It's just, why debut it with the Henry Cavill Superman when his hairstyle looks nothing like this in the film? So, I mean, it might go back to whatever concept art they were basing these sets off of. Maybe the hairstyle did actually look like this at first before they shot the film. Who knows? But it is still a new hairpiece, and it is being debuted with Superman for whatever reason. And the face, he's got a big giant smile. LEGO decided to go with this, I guess, for kids, and that's understandable as well. But it's like in the movie, it's very dark. You know, you have Batman trying to kill him. You have Lex Luthor creating Doomsday trying to kill him. You have the entire, like, half the world hating him, and it's like, he's not going to be smiling in the movie, so even though this might be better for kids, it's still a little awkward. And if we go ahead and turn the head around, you can see this is the heat vision side of the face, which is taking straight from the Man of Steel Superman, and I think the other Superman, no, I think it's just a Man of Steel Superman minifigure if I'm recalling correctly. Regardless though, it is this side of the face is the same, and I don't believe there's any difference on the heat vision side. But one thing he does not have, you'll notice, no double molded boots, and that's a little strange how this Superman has it in the Sky High battle, and then this one in the Clash of Heroes does not, and it's really, really inconsistent, and just it's really a shame. I mean, I don't know why this happened or how this happened. How does one Superman in one set end up with double molded boots, but then this one doesn't? It's just it's really, really off-putting and just really out of nowhere and strange. So yeah, definitely not liking the inconsistency there, but it is what it is. Okay, so the armored batsuit. Let me just say, coming from a minifigure customizer, I make custom minifigures on a daily basis, and I have already been staring at reference pictures of the armored batsuit. You guys have seen it in the trailer. You guys might even have seen the Hot Toys figure or the statues or the other figures being put out for the film. And this is just not it. And let me say, a lot of what I'm going to say also might be considered nitpicking, and that's fine. You know, to those of you who may actually be okay with this figure, then that's great, that's awesome, but you're watching a review from someone who is not. So let me just say right now as well that this is like, I guess, LEGO's playability version of the Kryptonite rifle that I guess, you know, Batman will have in the film, and it breaks apart into a regular stud shooter with a regular trans-green stud on it, and then you have the actual grapple gun piece that basically becomes a second half, and it can be held by, you know, it goes into both of Batman's hands. It does work pretty nicely, and of course, you have the actual like grapple piece on his back here, which I'll get into, you know, those clips and everything in a bit, but you can actually take, you know, split it in half, and then you get both the grapple gun and you have a stud shooter. So I mean, right there, that's pretty awesome. That's 2 accessories in one. So like, you know, there's no denying that's really great for playability. So just to get it out of the way, though, we're gonna go ahead and take the grapple piece and hook it back onto Batman's armor here. So yeah, now one thing I want to mention is the color. In the film, Batman's armored suit, while yes, it is dirty, and it does kind of give off this like gunmetal color, it's more so a silver, and it really at its core is a silver. So I thought, you know, chrome parts would have looked better than this, you know, like the type of color that LEGO uses on Cyborg, for instance, and not this color. And I mean, maybe you guys, again, disagree, but personally, I just would have preferred that color over this. And again, I understand, you know, balancing out resources and, you know, cutting corners to an extent. to a certain degree. But when Lego goes and they make themes like, what is it? I can't even remember, Nexo Knights, and they're putting all those resources into something like that, and then we can't even get a decent cowl for the armored batsuit or a decent chest piece for the armored Batman minifigure when it's such an iconic suit in such a highly anticipated film. And then this all goes back to, it is based on concept art. And it's like, okay, while I could see maybe in the concept art the ears were longer on the armored Batman cowl and the chest piece, you know, might have looked like this, and Lego was like, oh hey, perfect, we'll just use those two and it'll work fine. And then maybe it was changed later. But this feels a lot more to me like cutting corners than, you know, any sort of accuracy that might have been there. So yeah, I'm just really disappointed that Lego ended up going with a regular Batman cowl just in this gunmetal color, and then just a chest piece from the Galaxy Trooper from the collectible minifigure series, whatever, I don't care. So it's just really disappointing. But if we go ahead and remove the cowl here, you can see that we do have a glow-in-the-dark head, and this is, you know, really awesome because you have the Batman face printed onto basically a white head, and the glow-in-the-dark is really nice. It looks great, of course, but to me what looks even better is the fact that we get a Batman face that has the right skin tone. It is so awesome to have, and to be completely honest with you, even though you can see the white, I would rather have that than this. I mean, this, just having a little bit of white and maybe a little bit of the face exposed in the back, looks better than this. So, I mean, honestly, I would be okay if Lego just went with all glow-in-the-dark heads, as ridiculous as that might sound. I'm literally willing to give up one over the other. So anyway, if we go ahead and turn it around, though, you can see that we do have a more aggressive facial expression, and you see the head is not the problem. I think the head is great. And if we go ahead and remove it, though, just getting a look at the Galaxy Trooper chest pieces again, it's just not accurate. I mean, while the shoulders are a little close, this whole area here just is not. And I mean, again, this might all come across as nitpicking, and that's fine, but just coming from the minifigure customizer who's been staring at reference pictures of the armored suit, this is just not it. And if we go ahead and pull this entire thing off, because the cape is actually a little bit unique, yeah, so you can see that the like on the back here, of course, as part of the Galaxy Trooper, you know, like as part of the actual piece, you have these two clips molded into the back, and you can see you got the grapple hook attached to the left side, and then batarang on the right. Sorry guys, my voice is going, still trying to get over this cold. Anyway, the cape gets a little ruined by the neck piece, and so I'm kind of surprised that Lego went with a normal cape and not one of the newer capes that they've been so strongly promoting in the superhero sets. And yeah, it's kind of different though, because you don't have two holes on it, you only have one, so it's not only new, it's in a new color, it's got a new, you know, it's only got one hole at the top, so I mean, it's kind of strange how it wasn't, you know, made in the same material that the new capes are made with. So yeah, now what's left here, we have this really nice armored you know, design going on here. It's like, now this is the part that I think was designed based on the concept art before it might have been changed in the movie, because as we all know, Batman's armored suit has a strap that runs across his chest. He does not have the bat symbol anywhere on it, so I'm guessing that this whole area was based on concept art, and that's fine. The design is amazing. You look under there, and you even have like the little bits of Batman's suit as accurate to the armor suit, because Batman's wearing his normal suit underneath the armor suit, and Lego even incorporated a little bit of that. You can kind of see the pattern under there. And the belt is great, the printing on the legs is all great. It's just, you really can't appreciate this because then you put the cape on and then you take the head, and it's like the cape, because it only has one hole and it's meant for the chest piece, you've got that. And that's awful. So there's really no saving this minifigure, and it really does suck. And if we look at the back here, again, the design is just fantastic. You look at that, the detail on that. I mean, the torso and the legs that are beneath the armor, that are behind, you know, the cowl and all the minifigure's faults, you have a really great torso and a really great pair of legs, regardless of whether or not they're printed onto what I might consider to be the wrong color. So yeah, guys, these are just my thoughts on the armored suit. Thankfully, Brick's alive, or actually Brick Barracks, my buddy Josiah, he's working on something so awesome. It's a really incredible armored Batman suit that he's going to be having produced, and a lot of people are going to have the chance to paint it, and thankfully, I'm most likely going to be one of them, and this is quite literally what you're going to see in my Batman vs. Superman showcase, and the armored Batman suit, thanks to him, is going to be pretty much the direct opposite of what Lego was trying to go for. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on the armored Batman suit. I was really expecting more from Lego, and while I can understand some of the decisions made here, the cowl and the chest piece, I just cannot. So Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. This is really the main focus of the set, and the main talking point. That's why I've spent so much time on it, because I really want to make my point clear that I understand some of the things that happened here with this minifigure. It's just, again, the cowl and the chest piece I just find to be really unfortunate, and just really does kind of ruin this minifigure. The long ears and the chest, it's just, it doesn't look good. So yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the actual set though. Okay, so the minifigures aside, even if you do, if you are able to appreciate the minifigures in some way, or at least the armored suit, Superman really isn't terrible. Anyway, that's not the point. The point here is, in the middle of these two minifigures, we have this build. And I guess Lego, they wanted to have their cheap $12 set with Superman and Batman, your definitive little $12 Batman versus Superman set, and then we have this build in between them. And it's just, it's like, I really don't like the build, but there's no denying the playability features are unfortunately effective. And when I say that, I'll just show you them really quick. You have this little chunk of a bat signal, and it has this really awesome 4x4 printed dish piece on it, and it looks amazing. That piece is awesome, and it's literally meant to be a missile. Like what they're trying to imply is that Batman has a missile behind it, laced with kryptonite, that he fires at Superman. And to be honest, I would be really shocked if that's actually in the movie, and that just went like way off frame. But yeah, I just really am surprised that that's actually a feature that Lego decided would be okay to shoehorn in here. And I guess it kind of works when when you're trying to make it seem like Batman has all these hidden all these little things up his sleeve to go out Superman with. But it's just I don't know. At least it's articulated, I guess, and it's on this Technic piece, a couple of Technic pieces that make sure you can spin it and adjust it in whichever way you want. But it's no denying that it's a real misuse of this really awesome dish piece that they've printed here. Because when I see this build, imagine what it would have been like if Lego had actually given us a full bat signal the size of this, with your flick fire missiles, with your stud shooters on it, whatever you want to have on it. Don't you think that would have been cooler if you had a bat signal with some playability features on it than a little chunk of a rooftop? I don't know. That's just the way I see it. Maybe you don't agree. Definitely let me know in the comments. It's just because I just can't find this build to really be decent at all, aside from the playability features that are somewhat effective. And so the next one here is basically a Batman launcher, and this is really it's like a super jumper just without the super jumper. And basically what you do is you take your armored Batman, you put him on this little those two studs there, and you just push back. You just push on this Technic brick, and there he goes. That's pretty much what it's meant to be. It's meant to be just like he launches himself at Superman, and I guess he begins the fight. And it's like, again, even though the build is terrible, you can't deny that these incredibly simplistic playability features do work. And this one, when I say simplistic, man, it is simplistic. It is literally just a couple of Technic pieces, just run through a hole, and then you just put the axle on the back, and that's literally all it is. And the whole thing is relying on, the Batman being launched off of the studs for it to gain any sort of momentum. So it's okay, but there's no denying that a fully built bat signal or just anything else would have been better. So then we have this control panel, and this is a sticker. It's okay. It's meant to represent, like, I guess he's monitoring Superman's vitals, and he's trying to determine how quickly he can kill him, what have you. That's the little graphic they have put on a sticker there. We have a little bit of kryptonite right here on this jumper plate, so that's a nice little addition. There's only one of these, so that's there. And then we have this little green crate, and inside the green crate, we've got, if it don't come off, that'll be great. You can see we've got a couple of green studs meant to represent the kryptonite, which is also being used, or it's also like kind of like his stock for his kryptonite rifle. So yeah, then we have this little great gate words. We've got this little gate piece here, and this is meant to be, I guess, like a hidden little weapon to distract Superman. And maybe this, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually in the movie. And a lot of people are speculating that maybe Batman will actually turn like Gotham, or at least a portion of Gotham, into like a little arena that he's set up to fight Superman. And so maybe that's why there are these, there are guns underneath this gate. That would make sense. But it's like, even so, I thought that at least this gate would be on a little 2x2 swivel, the little 2x2 plates that have the gray bit in the center that you make it rotate. And it's like, nope, it's just stuck on there. And if you turn this thing without holding it down, it's gonna pop off. So I mean, maybe that's a good thing. You can argue that that's by Superman's doing, but it's like, I'm really reaching. This build is just not good. I'm blown away by how LEGO actually put this into a set, and I'm totally ignoring the giant and completely out of nowhere trans orange pieces. And at first I saw them, I'm like, oh, maybe they're supposed to represent heat vision. You know, Superman is like shooting down, you know, shooting heat vision at him. But honestly, that the box doesn't portray that at all, and so I don't really know what I'm looking at, to be honest with you. Yeah, so for this reason alone, and for this build, and the armored suit really just feeling totally rushed, I have to say, I cannot recommend this $12 set. And, you know, you probably are going to be like, what? It's only 12 bucks. Just go for it. Do it anyway. And if that's what you want to do, then please have at it. The minifigures, maybe you'll find some way to appreciate this set. It's just personally, aside from the torso on Superman and the bat signal dish piece, and the design work on the armored suit underneath the armor and the cowl, it's like, that's it. I mean, aside from that, I don't really find this set great or, you know, decent at all. And we also have a super jumper, by the way, which I'm totally ignoring, but I'm not going to use a super jumper. I'm not going to, you know, like totally waste the legs on Superman, because that's pretty much what super jumpers do. They just murder minifigure legs. But yeah, guys, so that's really it for this set. I cannot recommend it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, though. I'm hoping at least most of you disagree, so that hopefully you can find some way, again, to appreciate the set, even though I can't. So yeah, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the box, instruction manual, extra pieces, and we'll wrap up this video. The box is what you'd expect for like a $12 set. You can see we have the glow-in-the-dark brick logo down here in the bottom left corner, Batman vs. Superman logo on the right, and then a nice little graphic of the actual like chunk of a rooftop that the set is on, an actual rooftop in Gotham where this battle is supposed to be taking place, I'm guessing, and at least that's what it looks like from the trailers. And then also we have Batman in the armored suit sporting the actual size reference on the top, all the features that I just went over on the back of the box, along with another little graphic of the armored Batman suit, making sure you're aware that the head does glow in the dark. So yeah, aside from that though, that's really it. It's pretty much what you'd expect. The instruction manual actually comes out to be, believe it or not, a 30-page build, and I was kind of surprised about that. But if we go ahead and flip to the back here, you can see that number right there on the bottom left corner, if I can get to it. There it is. And yeah, and then over here we have an advertisement for the other 3 sets included with the wave, or I guess just all 3 sets included with the wave, including this one. And then over here we have an ad for Lego.com/DC Superheroes for all the new Lego, you know, Batman vs. Superman updates that they've added. So yeah, and then over here we have an advertisement for the upcoming Lego Justice League Cosmic Clash movie they're working on, or it's coming out pretty soon. So yeah, aside from that, that's really it for the instruction manual. And yeah, there isn't a lot going on with the extra pieces, of course, but you can still see we get an extra batarang, which is really nice, and we have an extra lightsaber hilt, an extra trans green stud for his kryptonite rifle, a couple of black and gray stud, a gray connector, one of these pieces that goes inside the stud shooter, and then a black pistol. So yeah, that's pretty much your, you know, your small pile of extra pieces, which is fine. So yeah, that's it though for this video, guys, and now we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this review.
Tell me, do you bleed?
Alright guys, and there you go, my review on the Clash of Heroes, hands down the most disappointing set out of all 3 Batman vs. Superman sets. I was really expecting a lot more from LEGO, and yeah, I've been pretty much saying that exact same thing throughout the whole video though. But if you enjoyed the review, maybe found it informative, or if it helped you in deciding whether or not to pick up this set, and again, I really strongly recommend that you don't. Definitely let me know by dropping this video a like below, and or your opinion on anything I said down in the comments, especially if you have something else to say about this set. If you don't agree, that's cool. Definitely, like I said, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. It always means a lot and definitely goes a long way. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. By the way, links to all 3 of those are always down in the description below as well. And there I'm going to be posting a lot of really cool stuff, guys. I'm getting started on my Deadpool minifigures in like the next week. I actually just started assembling the bodies for my Captain America Civil War minifigures. I already have the big fig ordered for Doomsday that I'm going to be starting on. I've got a lot of really cool stuff in the pipeline that's going to be coming out faster and faster in 2016. It's going to be a much faster paced year than last year, and so it'll be pretty awesome, guys. And hopefully, as I've been saying in these past couple of videos, you'll be there to stick around with me for the entire ride. So on that note, I'm going to end it there, and don't buy this set. I'll see you guys later. Bye! And the set number for this one is 6 through 12. That's the ages.
Stay down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
like a little flick fire missile. Gosh damn it. You're on a, you know, see on the top here we have the armored Batman suit sorting.